So this is lesson number 70 in Algebra 2, Advanced Abstract Equations. And let's just get started with our first example. Abstract means we don't have any numbers, they're just letters. Okay, first thing we're going to do is distribute. P times 1 over A is P over A, and PM over B. Alright, now this is where there's a little bit of a difference in what we did before. Remember before when we were trying to combine fractions, we would have a common denominator, and I'd say, okay, what am I missing here that I have here? Well, a B. So I'd put a B here and a B here. And then I'd say, okay, what am I missing here that I have here? An A. So I multiply this and this, and that gave me common denominators, right? Okay. This is a little bit different than that. And the reason for it is because there's an equal sign there. When there is an equal sign, you don't find common denominators. Okay? It's hard to remember sometimes, but you don't find common denominators. Well, I take that back. You find common denominators, but you do something different with it. Alright, so what is my common denominator here? When I have letters on the bottom, my common denominator is always the product of those two letters. So my common denominator is AB. So what do I do with that AB? Well, I don't put them down here and up here and combine like terms or anything else. There's something else I do with a common denominator. I multiply the entire thing by AB, by that common denominator. And look what happens. ABX equals ABP over A plus ABPM over B. And then look, I can cancel that and that and that and that. And what happened? My fractions disappeared. Completely disappeared. And that's awesome. Now what it says is it's saying, okay, we didn't just want you to make the fractions disappear. What we want to do here, and let's move this up, is the example says solve for B. So we're trying to get B all by itself on one side of the equal sign. Once we have the fractions gone, then we put the B's all on the same side. So we're going to subtract that. Now remember, when you have two numbers multiplied, you can't split them up like that. So we're going to bring them both over here. Now we're going to factor out a B. And that will always happen. Once you move them all over there, you'll be able to factor what you're looking for out. Then divide by both sides by everything that's not B. That goes away, and that is your answer. Alright, let's try one more, and that's really all we're going to need to do. XP equals M times B over 1 plus C plus A over P. Alright, so again, distribute. Well, first of all, let's see what in the heck we're looking for here. It says solve for C. So this is what we're trying to isolate. Okay, so we have MB over 1 plus C plus AM over P. Okay, trying to solve for C. So what are we going to do here? We're going to find common denominator. Our common denominator is the product of that. So let's go ahead and put that. And then we'll go ahead and just write our whole equation again. I really suggest you writing too much than too little because it will mess you up. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply. In fact, I'm just going to stick things together. So now we're going to multiply that times that. Okay, now this one times that one. Okay, so now let's cancel that with that, that with that. Alright, so notice all your fractions went away. So now we have P okay. Now we get all of our C's together. So we're going to take this whole thing and move it over. Okay, haven't really done anything yet. Alright, now let's divide, factor out our 1 plus C, and that leaves me a P, X, P here. And when we take this out, we're left with an AM. Okay, then we're going to divide both sides by and those will go away. Need more room. Boy, this one's a little bit not really hard, but there's a lot to it. And I'm left with 1 plus C equals P M B. Let's put the P's together here. P squared X minus AM. Okay, now to get C by itself, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and that'll get rid of that. And there you go with that one. Now, one of the things you could do is we could combine this with this by moving stuff out of the way and make this find common denominators here, and the common denominator is P squared X minus AM, and since it's a 1 it would be that over itself, which gives me PMB minus P squared X plus AM, because that negative is applying to that, making it a positive. Okay, and that ends up being what your C equals. Now the book does a different procedure for that. They get the same answer, but they do it a little bit different. Not really sure which is the easiest, but anyway, the thought is the same as far as going ahead and distributing, then getting rid of your denominators, then getting what you're looking for. If it says find X or find C or whatever, get that all on the same side of the equal sign, then factor what you're looking for out, then divide both sides by everything else. And that's pretty much it as far as doing lesson number 70.